Welcome guys, welcome back to Serenity Valley. This is episode 18, and just a little bit of time has passed since we were last together. We are continuing to plant our canola here on field 21, and we have started our plow. We plowed field 22 here, this little plot, and right now we've got our plow working down in field 13. So we're just going to finish up this field. We're going to work on this little plot 22, and then when we're done, we'll move down and start sowing in field 13. So I had done some tests, and we had turned on the more realistic mod again, just to test some things out. And indeed, when I had that mod enabled, the amount of seed being used was drastically reduced. In fact, you can kind of see the counter down there just tick down. When I had the more realistic mod in place, it wouldn't tick. It would go. It would tick down, but it would be very slow, to the point where it would probably tick down 1 for every 10 that it does here. If it was even that frequent, it might have been even less than that, as far as how often it would tick down. But another side effect was that I added the code in for that particular mod to this tractor, and when this tractor had the let me lower it. Had the front implement lowered there. It takes a little bit of weight off the front of the tractor, and the tractor wouldn't want to go straight when we were sowing with that front chaser bin, I guess I'll call it, on the tractor, because it took too much weight off the front and it would just start to drift off to the side. So the tractor worked fine if I took that off. But that was also an interesting side effect of enabling that mod. So we're just going to finish our strip here, and then we'll move down. You can see I kind of sowed a test strip on field 22. Last episode I wasn't quite sure if we were getting 2 levels of fertilization or just 1 with our planter here. But as it turns out, we are getting 2. It did look like we were getting the right color. I've got the colorblind mode turned on. It helps me pick out, see the colors, because I do have a slight colorblind issue. And I just was having a hard time picking out those 2 colors of shades of blue to show 1 level of fertilization and 2 levels of fertilization. But when they were side by side on the same field, I could tell a lot easier. So I was starting to get worried that our fertilizer that's in our seeder here was being wasted, because we were only getting 1 level of fertilization from the oilseed radish, and we weren't getting our second from the fertilizer that we were putting in the ground. But it does look like we are getting 2 levels of fertilization. I took that mod out because actually, when I went to start recording this episode, the whole game crashed on me. So, the only thing that I had in place was I added that mod in. So I took it back out. What happened was, basically, I had this tractor working on a hired worker just fine. I unhired that worker. And basically, as soon as I unhired that worker, the game just froze. So that was kind of an oddity, I thought. Alright. So we're coming up on the middle of May here. Anybody got some big Memorial Day plans? So that would be coming up here in a couple weeks. I don't know if any of you all are race fans, if they follow Formula One or not, but looks like Alonso's going to be running the Indianapolis 500 this year instead of the race over at Monaco. So that ought to be an interesting thing. I only bring that up because that happens Memorial Day weekend. So I know we talked about merging these plots, but I decided at this point probably not to merge them, just because it would have put a pretty odd shape to this field. It would have put the little dog leg in there, and we didn't get around to clearing those trees out. So mostly we didn't get around to doing that because our seasons, when I thought this the season display mod, I thought it was basically breaking the year down into 3 days per season, which would have meant a 12-day year. But it turns out that it actually was making a 7-day year. So our winter was 1 day as opposed to 3. And spring is going to be 2 game days as opposed to 3. So there just wasn't enough game time to get that accomplished. So we're basically in a waiting pattern, and we're just waiting for our cows to produce manure. We're waiting for our greenhouse, our raspberry greenhouse, to produce raspberries. So we're just going to pretty much just sow fields this episode, because there isn't a lot of extra stuff to do at this point. We've got all of our factories up and running. They're all been kept up with respect to finished raw materials, so that nobody needs raw materials. I think the cardboard factory is the closest to running out of raw materials with its wood chips, but we'll be able to fill that up pretty easily with our pallet factory, because our pallet factory has one of its byproducts is wood chips. So we'll be able to take from our 2 pallet factories into our cardboard, but we're probably going to do that off camera. We might do that next episode, just real quick in the morning, or not in the morning, but at the start. We'll just have to see. This map, I was thinking the other day, this map has 2 trains on it, and has a few sell points that are only accessible via train. And we're 19 episodes in, and we've yet to have to make use of any of those trains. I just thought that was kind of an interesting deal. I'm kind of eager to use the trains now, because I went in and for the series that we're going to do on Cherry Hills, I changed the train out, so it's a Union Pacific engine now, as opposed to the default in-game engine, which is kind of a European look to the train engine. And I'm kind of eager to be able to use it. I also turned on that the loco drive thing that makes the trains go around on their own. I didn't do it on this map simply because the author actually put in 2 engines per train, one at the front and one at the back. And I think his logic there was that you could run the train either direction and you'd be going forward, as opposed to, if you had a sell point that was technically behind the train and you didn't want to necessarily drive in reverse, you'd have to drive all the way around the map in order to get to your sell point. But if there is no reverse, then you don't have that problem, because you can just turn the train around. Alright, we've got this done. We're going to go down here and check out the progress that our plow is making, and go ahead and start putting our canola down in this field. And we're gonna, yeah, we'll do sunflowers on those other fields. So we picked up our we grabbed our Massey Ferguson with duals to handle this plow. We've got 2 plows on this map. The big John Deere plow we didn't bring out for this particular reason or episode, mostly because we don't really have to worry about a time crunch, in that our other fields that we planted oilseed radish in, they're not ready yet. So you see the field up here to the left behind that house. That field's basically only half grown with oilseed radish. The other half is still in a no growth stage. So we kind of have to wait until the oilseed pops up on that field. And since we planted those kind of in order, we planted 14 before we did 16 and 15, and then we did 18 last. So we kind of have to wait for 14 to finish before we can do that one. So this may be the last episode this game day. It all depends on if that you can see where half the field's green and the other half is dirt. So depending on the growth stage, if that oil seed pops up in this game day, then we might plow that field in an episode in this game day. But if that oil seed doesn't pop up this game day, then we're just going to fast forward and deal with our factories off camera. And when we be back, we'll be back for our first day of summer. So I wonder who we've got working over there. I didn't take notice if it was a male or female when I turned on course play. So behind us there, you see a shed and an open building. That's actually a kind of a third or a fourth, if you want to count them, little farm area. There's no silo there, but there are 4 kind of distinct places on this map where you can stage equipment. They are between fields. They're right there at field 16. There's one. There's one south of field 14. Of course, we've got the one down there where we have our grain, or not our grain, but our lumber operations. We have our main farm, of course. And I think that's all 4. Might be, I don't think I'm missing any, but this map definitely offers plenty of space to stash equipment around the map if you don't want to basically keep driving it around. from place to place. So you know, you could set up, maybe you make fields 13 here and 14 grass, and you could kind of set your grass operations up out of that shed. We've decided to make fields 9 grass, and 17 is grass, and 35 is grass. So we set up the pig farm area as kind of our grass operations, because we have our sheep there, we have our cows across the street. So our two big cow, our two big grass needy animals are pretty much in the same general area. So we might as well just have our grass production there. We've got a load of fertilizer to sell and another load and a half of fuel to sell. So we'll probably do that off camera. I know I've sold fuel and I know I've done fertilizer on camera, so there's no real reason to continue to do that on camera, other than to just exercise in monotony. But I mean, if you all tell me that you like to see that stuff done, then I guess we'll do it on camera. But just let me know in the comments if there's certain things that you would like to see more of. If there's less things that you would like to see, you know, I mean, I'm probably not going to film too many more episodes of us sewing, simply because it's just us going back and forth. But like I said earlier, we're kind of in a point where we are just waiting on some things to accumulate and collect, so that we can move on with some other fun stuff. So I think we're catching up this plow here by the end of the episode. We might be kind of having to pause. I will have to take the plow over once we get up there by the power tower there, simply because Courseplay doesn't know what to do with it and they'll just run right into it. So kind of keeping an eye on that, just making sure that we know where we're at with that. Field 26 here would be a nice field to buy, and then we could join these two. So that's something that we should keep kind of in the back of our heads as a potential plan of action once we get some money. Because you can see that field just goes all the way over there to those trees, and we can just kind of square off and make one nice field out of that bottom section. I wonder what he's doing. I think the plow's turning around. I'm a little worried that he's going to run into these trees. We'll have to see what he does here. There might be enough room. What do y'all think about that combination, that particular tractor and that plow? You think it's right-sized, undersized? I don't think the tractor's too big for that particular combination. So it looks like when we get, we'll have to see, we might be needing to restock our seeder here. We appear to be running low on seed. So I think when we get at the end of this pass, we're going to run over and get our seed tender, which is up there a little ways, just parked up there. between fields 22 and 26. We'll get our seed tender semi and bring it down here and refill our seeds. We are definitely catching the plow up. I think he's probably working at what is he working? He's working at 9 miles an hour, and we're planting at 12. So we're slowly catching up to him. And this has a working width of 9 meters, and that plow I think has a working width of 10. So it's not that much of a size difference. Alright. Let's run on up here. Looks like we have a lady in there, so we'll just say that that is, we'll say that Carol is working our plow today. So I really like this semi. I like the interior overall. I like the performance. There's what are you doing? You're doing some weird stuff. It's kind of weird that you know, it's kind of hard to find a decent semi truck in this game. I think too many of them are kind of way overpowered and way overtuned to where they you know, they take off at a ridiculously high rate of speed, and there we go. And they're really shiny. You know, that's one of the reasons why I got rid of the Jeep. I really like that Peterbilt grain truck, but it's a bit shiny, you know, for my tastes. But you know, I'm really not sure why. We kind of phase through there. I didn't need fertilizer, but I'll just go ahead and let's back up. Let's go over here. Sometimes this thing can be a little temperamental with filling. Let's close it up. See if that helps. There we go. Just close that up. And we'll just wait till this fills. It's like you'll be it's making the weirdest turns there. I'm not sure what's going on, but looks like we're gonna have to come to his rescue here in a moment, or her rescue. Just keep an eye on that particular plow. I think he can get one more pass. Yeah, we might as well. Jump out here and take over the plowing duties. Come on. What are you doing? Alright, this is whack. Alright, stop hiring the help. Alright. Oh. That was odd. I kept, for some reason I thought I had a hired help as opposed to courseplay, and I kept hiring a helper, and courseplay kept fighting the helper. So that was pretty strange. I didn't know that I didn't know you could do that. It's not something you want to do. So we're going to finish up this episode just running this plow, because we got to kind of work around this power tower. If you haven't subscribed, please go ahead and click the subscribe button if you like what you see. If you do like what you see, click the like button. It helps with the search results. It helps with displaying with respect to favorite content. If someone watches a bunch of farm sim vids, then my videos will be more likely to pop up if they've got a decent number of likes on them. Go ahead and check out the description. Some of the web guys or some of the YouTubers down in the description below. There's a great bunch of guys there, and they all do a wonderful job with their series. They all have a various unique spin on the series, working different maps, working different storylines, different philosophies to their stories. It's a great way to kind of see other game styles, other gameplay styles. Check out the PCSG gaming forums. They're the best bunch of folks out there on the internet as far as having a simulation interest. The forums are very friendly. You won't see people or hear people, bad mouthing somebody for posting something stupid, or posting some question that gets asked every day of the week. No one's going to be telling them, well, why don't you just search it, because we've all been there. We've all tried to search stuff and basically end up searching the wrong thing and ends up with not getting the right results. So sometimes it just takes somebody with a little bit of patience to to get that answer out. So that's what the PCSG is all about. It's all about having a safe, fun place to come and share with others of like mind. So go ahead and check them out. And while you're out there on the internet, go ahead and check out the Three Dudes Gaming Network. I am a member of the Three Dudes Gaming Network, as is most of the people linked in my description, and they've got forums. Both PCSG and 3 Dudes has a multiplayer server exclusive for forum members, and I will be posting hopefully every week an exclusive early access video to 3 Dudes Gaming members only. So if you like my content and you would like to maybe partake of that content before its normal scheduled release, come on by, sign up, and check it out. So until next time, happy farming, y'all.